Welcome to the Cyber Exposure Awareness Toolkit Introduction. I am Doug Nagan, and I will be your narrator today. Let us begin by understanding the objective of the toolkit. The Cyber Exposure Awareness Toolkit is designed to help you answer three questions. First, have I identified all our cyber exposures? Second, how can anyone address all our cyber exposures? And third, what are the next steps? Let us address each in turn. The first question was, have I identified all our cyber exposures? Generally, most organizations are addressing their technical exposures. But is your technical organization focused on cybersecurity? You need to find that out. And if not, you need to make that happen, as it provides the foundation for all other efforts. Second, where there is a lack is in identifying the non-technical cyber exposures, such as those arising from social media, the cloud services, compliance and related legal matters, the Internet of Things, and the organizational cybersecurity culture that exists in your organization. Now, this happens out of a combination of ignorance, assumptions, and historical precedent. How you will break through this intransigence is the key. You do it by using the toolkit. And how? Because the toolkit provides a structured approach to identify your hidden cyber exposures. It begins using an initial survey where your answers are then processed against our proprietary algorithm using a historic database, which in turn generates a report within 5 business days that provides you with a roadmap to address identified cyber exposures. This roadmap includes suggested actions and suggestions. But now that you have identified your cyber exposures, what do you do next? That leads to question 2. How can anyone address all our cyber exposures? The task can seem overwhelming given the complexity and scope of the cyber exposures, compounded by the problems of organizational authority, funding, and resource constraints. The short answer, perhaps you cannot address all of them, but the Cyber Exposure Awareness Toolkit provides a path to identify, through segmentation, cyber exposures that will respond to a focused approach. So what is segmentation? Segmentation is a systemic approach for managing cyber exposures that is based on the following assumptions. The cyber ecosystem is comprised of many elements. Many key elements can be addressed independently. This is especially true of non-technical cyber exposures such as cloud computing systems, social media, sensitive information management, compliance and regulatory matters, the Internet of Things, and human behavior, which is another term for your organization's culture. How does the toolkit accomplish this? You well might ask. The Cyber Exposure Awareness Toolkit uses the proprietary technology, provides a way to identify areas within your organization that can be segmented, allowing you to identify hidden, generally non-technical cyber exposures, determine which cyber exposures to prioritize and how to address them, which means fix, ignore, or transfer by buying insurance, and to manage their effectiveness within your organizational and budgetary constraints. So this provides a method that allows, using segmentation, to address what can seem at first to be an overwhelming problem, addressing all of your cyber exposures. So now to question 3. What are the next steps? First, make sure that your technical cyber exposures are being managed. This can seem contradictory, but it is my experience that in the majority of organizations, There is great diligence in the addressing the technical cyber exposures. That is an assumption, and it provides the foundation to address the many cyber exposures that are being ignored. So if you are concerned or unsure, take our cyber exposure management courses at the Cyber Risk Academy, and if not, then use the Cyber Exposure Awareness Toolkit to create a path for effective cyber exposure management within your organization. It is really that straightforward to develop the beginnings of an effective cyber exposure management program. So, I believe I have answered your 3 questions. Have I identified all our cyber exposures? By using the toolkit, you can accomplish this task. And how can anyone address all our cyber exposures? Segmentation will allow you to pick and choose the elements that will respond best to your efforts and available resources. And what are the next steps? Simple. Buy the toolkit and begin. So now it is up to you. Choose and use the Cyber Exposure Awareness Toolkit and begin to address your cyber exposures. And be a hero within your organization. You will be on the path to creating an effective cyber exposure management program. And with that, I shall say goodbye. Thanks for your time and attention. I hope you select the Cyber Exposure Awareness Toolkit and get after your organization's cyber exposures. If you have any questions, you can email me at info@naginresearchgroup.com. This is Doug Nagin saying goodbye and good luck. Stay safe and secure.